Me a chop the line, and the line get chopped. The line get chopped. Me a bang the line, and the line get
of course, to chopping or scamming. And you know this has been plaguing Jamaica in recent years and driving the murder rate up, especially, of course, in the western part of the island, and a little bit in the central part, and a little bit in the north. All right, but primarily in the western and northwestern sections of the country. We have with us no stranger to us. He's been a guest here before, psychologist Dr. Leahcim Semaj, and he's going to join. He's going to join the discussion and help to help us understand, you know, what's driving the frenzy around scamming. And, you know, we're going to be discussing some of the issues around resilience and economic diversion and all of these nice things. Hi, Doc.
My brother. I'm going to couch my approach. I'm calling it the psychobiology of scamming. The psychobiology of scamming. Now,
so psychobiology and neurobiology, two ways this morning. Let's go.
Exactly. Now, there's a very important aspect in terms of human development. We ask questions about nature versus nurture.
Right.
And there's certain capacity that we have built in. Now, it is socialization that decides what direction it goes.
Right.
So when the socialization fails, the default clause kicks in.
Mm-hmm.
And if you notice the amount of, we didn't call it scamming then, the amount of coming out, coming out of Nigeria. You have one. My husband has died and left 10 million nairas, and I saw you, and you're a good person, and I'd like you to help me with it. Just tell me your bank account. For years,
yes,
Nigerians have been the master. So any country that has talented, creative people, and that it is not appropriately channeled. It takes the default clause. Water runs downhill. If you want the water to go uphill, you got to find a pump.
Yeah.
Behavior is governed by consequences.
Yeah.
All right? And you have schedules of reinforcement that governs behavior. Now, gambling, the most powerful reinforcement contingency is random reinforcement. That's almost a paradox.
Yes. Yes.
Look at random. I mean, and the more random it is the more powerful it is. So that there's no guarantee you are going to win. But you feel that
you know somebody who's won.
And in fact, you know plenty of people who have won. I did a slight aside. I did a study very early in the game for the lottery company. The one that why it is that Lotto. Remember Lotto came out at $6 million?
Yes.
And Cashpot started with just one game where you could win based on one number. And you win a couple $100, a couple thousand versus. But the smaller company with the smaller game, just paying a few dollars, blew Lotto out of the market and ultimately bought them. And I explained to them that everybody knows somebody who win Cashpot. But nobody knows nobody who win Lotto.
But therefore, the prior knowledge base is larger.
Absolutely.
Critical mass.
Even though it's a smaller amount of money, but everybody knows somebody who win. Now, when you have the ecosystem that there's so many people who have gotten through, it drives it, even though it is random, even though. Now, let's go inside the head now. The amygdala.
Yes.
Powerful component in the brain. It governs by three things. Testosterone drives it, dopamine, and serotonin.
Yes. And
there's a feeling that this is where now some of the issues, the imbalance that prevents the socialization process from taking root.
Right.
Because of what? Now, when you combine the amygdala with something called the prefrontal cortex,
yes,
Now, the
All
prefrontal
right.
cortex.
Sorry. Hold on. I'm pausing a little bit because I want people to know that the amygdala is your survival center. That's the center that's going to keep the species alive. That is
Critical.
and that's where the madness. That's where the madness goes on. Madness in court, and that's where the good things go on. Right.
Flee, fight or flee. Fight or flee.
Yes.
It is what triggers it. No.
Yes.
The amygdala, no, literally, it actually works in consort with the prefrontal cortex.
Right.
Now, listen carefully. I hope you are taking notes on this. The prefrontal cortex is not fully developed until about age 27. Look at the psychographic. Who are the people who are largely involved in this enterprise? They are in that group, late teens, early 20s. Now,
right, which answers the question, Doc. Why nobody wants to recruit a 35-year-old in a gang or in the army?
No, you can't. No. They're too developed. They have all their systems built up.
Nobody wants you to come and fight for us. No.
So no, the functions in the prefrontal, it predicts consequences, it anticipates events, it offers impulse control, it manages your emotion, and it helps you plan for the future.
So it's a filter.
It's absolutely. It is that master center. Until you have our own children, when your bright child does something stupid, Daddy, I wasn't thinking. They mean it literally.
Yes.
Because until the prefrontal cortex is fully developed, all kinds of things can happen without thinking it through. What are the possible consequences? And then when the amygdala triggers, now we're saying the socialization, many of these people have not been adequately socialized because the external socialization is what acts as the control mechanism until...
Right. And we haven't added hunger yet.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, by the way, the prediction is that the most dangerous person on earth is a young man, unmarried, unemployed, unemployable, unattached, and hungry.
Yep.
All right?
Don't play with him.
No.
And one other group, and his parents before him came through the same system.
Absolutely.
Which means he has no cultural reference point.
Now, listen to this now carefully, and I hope the people who are apologists for our music listen to this carefully. Listening to music activates the prefrontal cortex area. Music is one of the most powerful things.
I'm telling them.
No, hold on now. Because the executive functions are now manipulated by music. Therefore, music might directly exert negative or positive influences on these processes. So if these persons within this particular age group are feeding the prefrontal cortex with music that promote, encourage, big up those activities, they have no choice almost but to engage in it. So you understand, we have a perfect storm.
So it reduces the power of the filter.
Absolutely. The music amplifies it.
People's circumstances feed what they choose to listen to.
Absolutely. And until that prefrontal cortex is fully developed now to filter it out.
Yes.
To filter it out. All it does. So that when we hear that the US is coming for you and this person got 10 years and you're going to be extradited, that filters out completely. Because I know some brethren, boy, who make a bag.
Yeah, man, a bad man. If I dirt, I dirt.
If I dirt, I dirt. And then, remember, we started with the power of random reinforcement. And worse yet, if you know so many people who made their bag from this, remember that we failed in the positive socialization of these young men. Nature abhors the vacuum.
Mm-hmm.
Something is, me can't go to work for $1,000 a day. I carry cement bag. You mad?
Mm.
So the minimum wage, these unskilled, but even the skilled ones, because you have some now who have 6 and 7 and 8 C6, and they say, no,
Yes.
me can't work a BPO, a call center. I remember years ago, at least 10, 15 years ago, I was doing a redundancy exercise for a call center.
Mm-hmm.
And I was talking about what you can do afterwards, what you can do. And there were a group of people at one table that said, no, Doc, we're all right, we're nice. No, so well, it's the same skills we learn here, We can learn how to, we can do it. The man, they must tell me from then.
We're not for
No.
We're nice, bro.
We're nice.
We're good.
So someone talks to me one away, he said, Doc, the same way the big man here can give a list of people to call. And what to tell them. And how to break down the resistance and so on. No, we can go into business for ourselves.
Yeah, man.
Without
send 2 young men to university, one in the universities, and they come back and asking me for a gun job. Doc, I'm trying to change the place, Doc. I'm frustrated.
Absolutely, because
so I said to him, do you want me to intervene? I will get jobs for the 3 so that they don't come back and set a bad example. And he says, thank you, Doc, that's what I love yourself. He says, all right, man, calm down. And we found jobs for the 3 young men. And he said to me, because I am trying to change, right? I am trying to change, and I want to take them with me. By the way, that entire gang has now transformed into, and they are no longer gang members because this done change. But his frustration was, even after the education and the training,
but you see,
but come back.
Exactly, because guess what? Remember we're talking about, what the prefrontal cortex does.
Yes.
And because it is the executive function, and it is not fully in place until about age 27. One of the things it does, it helps you to deal with conflicts and conflicting thoughts.
Right.
It determines good and bad. It also determines bad, better, best, same and different, future consequences versus current activities, working towards defined goal setting, prediction of outcome, expectation based on action, and again, social control and suppression of urges that, if not suppressed, could lead to socially unacceptable outcomes.
Yes.
So even though, give them that education, but they're still in a milieu that is actually promoting antisocial behavior.
Yes, and they can go back home from university every day.
Absolutely. And then they feed themselves on a music that actually helps to bypass the role of the amygdala.
Yes.
The music activates the prefrontal cortex with the executive function, and it can be either negative or positive.
Yes.
So whatever you feed it, it gets stronger on that side.
Right. So here's a big question for you, Doc. And I see people actually typing it in and sending it. Just eventually we had forgotten. There's a text on it too. Why do these people, which is what I just introduced, why do they get a break and still go back to buying more weapons?
No, because they see guarantee. They know that works.
So their cultural reference point is one of the gun as a tool.
Yes. Because look, you've heard this common thing. Them see them teacher a tech boss.
Yes.
You who are
wickedy, I couldn't even buy one old ladder like back in the days.
Yeah. Them see them teacher a tech boss. And although you see, look, you ever see an insurance man drive bash up car yet?
No.
When an insurance man come to sell you insurance, him trash.
Yes.
Yeah. And also union delegates
and
also
dress English. You really wonder where he's from.
Yes. So that you're selling more than it's just. So look at me, look at me.
Yes.
But the people who are telling them all these wonderful things, how they live,
Mm-hmm.
them might take bus same way, and them can barely put on a pot, so that they
Yes.
can say, "Me no want to come like that."
Yes.
So even when
I remember, Doc. I went by a violence interrupter (VI) in Montego Bay, and he was in dire straits. And it occurred to me. I called a couple of the guys and said, "You respect him?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm not doing thing." And so that was just me checking to see what was happening.
yes,
And then I called the guy and said, "When was the last time you put on a pot that is you alone cooking?" And he said, "No, man, I didn't put on pot." And I said, "Well, you can't change anything. Them putting on the pot."
they might feed you. Yeah,
So I gave him $10,000 out of my pocket and said to him, "Put on a couple pots. I'll turn up the respect."
absolutely, absolutely. So that we are now threats. No, hold on now.
Yes.
When you have what's controlled behavior, we talk behavior controlled by consequences. No,
Yes.
when you know what threats, you know why threats are a poor control of behavior, because if you don't follow up on the threat, it doesn't work. What's the probability of somebody going to jail for committing murder in Jamaica?
Very high.
But
Very high, depending if they live in a zone, then it's under 20%.
yeah,
But if they live outside of that zone, then it goes up to about 60%. But overall, it needs to be improved.
absolutely. So, for example, now,
Right.
so persons literally know that if I threaten you, but I don't carry it out, you see, why is it that the control of the Don is so much more powerful than the control of the state? If the state tell you something, when do something, chances are they can't carry it out. Chances are it don't happen. If the Don tell you, hey, boss,
Yeah,
bring back
the
the woman things by 6 o'clock this evening.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta bring it back, because you know that the consequences are certain.
Lumber yard.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, let me explain that. You'll be hit with a piece of lumber.
Well, and you can go further. That lumber can be used to make casket.
Yes.
Yeah. So that oftentimes now we talk these things, even we talk about education and this and that and that. Many times they see their parents working from sun up to sundown. They see all these people talking all these wonderful things, but can't even put on a pot. So that they are willing to take the risk. So we have a socialization problem.
Right.
We have a values problem.
Right.
And if the school, remember that, especially now, remember that the school is doing two things. The school is involving pedagogy, but it's also involving socialization. And for the last 2 years, we tried to do some pedagogy online, but there was no socialization coming from the structure. Only socialization is what you're listening to on the music videos, and what you're hearing in your community. And the level of...
Here's a big question for you, Doc. Why is it that some scammers make money and buy guns or more guns, while others scam and use the money to divert into business?
Remember then, we're operating between the amygdala and the prefrontal cortex. And it is not rational. It's not so catch you on a good day, and give me say another film. The woman that the scammer there with.
We have four factors here. Let's get through them. The first one is the kind of partner. If she's steady and if she comes from uptown, which is why a lot of gang members have uptown women.
Yes. She provides that structure. Because we've had that kind of thing for a long time in Jamaica, The wife is a teacher and the husband's a cabinet maker or a mason.
Yes, ma'am.
Or a police,
he
whatever.
Makes the money, she directs it.
Exactly. He makes the money, but she's the one that directs it and adds value.
Big team.
Yeah.
Big team.
Yeah. So if now you as a scammer have a girl, uptown girl, educated, values, because oftentimes in a relationship, man, it's the woman who brings the values to the relationship.
Yes.
If she's
And the
about
emotional intelligence.
yes, if she's a boss, you can't go on like this, man. Look how your brethren did yesterday, and look how that, but that can't reach me. And she keep at him. And then guess what? Sometimes she even shrink off a piece of the money and do something constructive with it and don't even tell him. And then
show him one day.
A couple of weeks later, show him, see that? But what? You do that? And she started teach him using his own money to source and look how that money multiply now. And you never take no risk with that at all. You don't have to continue this, boss. You get through a couple of times. It's almost in the earlier days, and it was based on just getting a load of ganja out. And you get and you get through another bigger load, and you get through, and then she tell you, no man, you must can't ease off now, man. Ease off now. Diversify your portfolio now.
Right.
So that's what happened. Somebody else can get something into him and say, listen, no, you don't need to take no more risk. You can now convert. There was an article I read some time ago about this country where a lot of young men, that same age group, were being induced to become, we call it suicide bombers. Because you're for the cause and you can get 72 virgins if you die. But this man explained to them that, but guess what? If you become a businessman, you can get live woman.
Yes.
Live.
Not while you're a ghost.
No. And one by one, the youth them start shrinking off and start with the business class. Because somebody was giving them another alternative here and now.
So there needs to be intervention.
There need to be intervention. And you have to meet them where they are.
That's where the NGOs, that's where the Children First, the Fathers Inc., that is where the different groups come in, trying to help young people to be able to see a way forward outside of weaponry and scamming.
I was asked to design an intervention some time ago, and in Montego Bay, and I showed them a model how I would use music. Bring them to a dance, and we're going to use the dance. And every song we're going to play in the first part is dealing with violence and conflict and and then the second part, we start dealing with music now to show how you can resolve man and woman thing.
Right.
And because the first, my woman is gone. Dry cry, woman leave me. Marley, Dennis Brown, and then now have them now. All right. Did you realize that the man they are singing, but look at the other side of it now, when the man them are singing what they can do, so that use the same music and walk them through it, and have them build some lyrics now. Build some lyrics now. How would you counter that? But you have to meet them where they are, my brother. The psychobiology of scam.
The chopper. My driver Mark Exa. And she love me because me is a chopper. Yeah.